spot now.
Marco D'Angelo's baseball is hitting 68% since the All-Star break, going 34-16, netting his clients a profit of $5,601, making him the #1 MLB handicapper at WagerTalk since the midpoint of the season. So how would you like to get the rest of Marco's baseball free throughout the World Series? Through Sunday at midnight, if you purchase Marco's college football and NFL combo package, we'll toss you in his baseball selections through the World Series for free, a $449 value. To redeem your free Major League Baseball through the World Series, just email support@wagertalk.com after you purchase, and we'll add your access within 24 hours.
All right, guys, welcome in. Happy Friday here. Time for another edition of Pony Pundits, powered by WagerTalk.com as we get ready for the Travers Stakes. Saratoga is going to be the location, and we are excited because, well, a lot of familiar names going to be racing here this weekend. We got a few familiar names here on the show as well as we welcome back Marco D'Angelo and, of course, Sig back in the house again after taking off on us last week. Kind of deserted us, but that's all right. It's always a pleasure to see you again there, Sig. And Marco, talk to me here, my friend. Actually worked out pretty well last week, didn't it?
Sig was gone. I didn't even realize it. Oh, man. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's exciting week this week. Those that follow Saratoga, and we all know how much our buddy Sig likes Saratoga, this is the week to be at Saratoga. It's Travers weekend. You've got a $1.25 million purse on Saturday with the Travers, and I'm looking forward to it. And, of course, this could cement the 3-year-old horse of the year if he hasn't already earned it, and that's Essential Quality Racing Saturday in New York. I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be a hell of a race, and it's always a good time of year. We love the Travers. Sig, welcome back here, my friend. I hope you enjoyed your time away, a little time off. How you been?
Pretty good, Joe. Yeah, I did enjoy my time away. Thanks again to Sean Alvarez for filling in the seat here for me last week and covering the Pacific Classic. I know the horse he has a piece of, Tis a Magician, part of the My Racehorse family. Finished second there, looked pretty good in the race, so congrats to Sean on that. Saratoga's been fantastic. There's 6 stake races today. There's another 6 or 7 of them, I believe, tomorrow, including a ton of grade 1s. The Sword Dancer, the Ford Go, including the Travers, and there's a number of other stakes on there. A ton of names that you guys will recognize. It's going to be a great day of racing. It's going to be a great day to make some cash.
All right. It's going to be a hell of a weekend here, guys. No time like the present, of course. And don't forget WagerTalk.com. You can always grab Sig's daily racing reports available each and every race day by 9 a.m. by visiting him at wt.buzz/Sig. And Marco, the #1 baseball handicapper at WagerTalk, now 37-18. Since the All-Star break, you can get 90 days, guys. That's right, 90 days, all access, all plays, all sports, including all of his picks at the track. Probably won't be his horses, but yes, it'll definitely be all his picks at the track for just $7 a day right now. Head over to Marco's page at WagerTalk.com. All right, guys, let's dive into this race here. We're going to start, Marco, with you because, well, it must be a favorite, isn't it? Oh, look at that. All right, so, Marco, we'll come to you. Boy, these names look real familiar, don't they? Midnight Bourbon here, Marco, for the Travers. What are we thinking about Midnight Bourbon here?
Well, I know what you think about Midnight Bourbon, Joe, every night about 11:59. But with this horse here, you can't ask for a more honest horse. And, you know, if you're a horse owner, you love a horse that's right there every week. And the horse has had 10 career starts, has been in the money 8 of the 10 starts. The 2 starts that didn't hit the board, well, one of them was thanks to Mike Smith. I don't know what he was doing with his ride in the Kentucky Derby. He was all over the place with the horse. Had no shot in that race. And then, unfortunately, in the last race, Flavian Pratt did his best impression of Karate Kid when they did the leg sweep to take him out because that's what happened to Midnight Bourbon. They clipped heels when Flavian Pratt came across in front of him in tight quarters, which he really didn't have to do. And because Midnight Bourbon was stopping in that race. He was going to finish third, but ended up knocking the horse down. And thank God nobody was hurt, horses or riders, in that incident. And it cost us with that day with Hot Rod Charlie, as we had a big win and place bet on him that day. But Midnight Bourbon will set the pace in this race. He'll break from the rail. He'll go to the lead. There's not a lot of early speed in here, so Midnight Bourbon could get modest fractions and hang on in deep stretch, but I don't think Midnight Bourbon can get the win. This horse most likely will finish second or third in this race.
Oh, all right. Midnight Bourbon leads us to number 2 here, Sig. Essential Quality. Pretty much hasn't run a bad race yet. So what are we thinking here? Hitting it, 8 for 8 on the board? Talk to us about Essential Quality.
Well, Joe, he's actually 7 for 8 in all wins, except for that Kentucky Derby performance where he was a length behind the eventual winner. That may not still yet be the eventual winner. We're still waiting to find out about that one. But Essential Quality was your 2-year-old champ, winning the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He won the Belmont in very impressive fashion. And then he came back after a short break and last month won the Jim Dandy. He's a horse that just seems to do enough to get it done. He's not going to blow the field away. He's not going to be secretariat in the Belmont Stakes by 31 lengths. But he knows where the wire is. He does just enough to get himself there. And Luis Saez has been riding this horse pretty much ever since his second race in his career. He knows him perfectly. He knows when to go with him. He's going to be sitting just off the early pace, like Marco said. Midnight Bourbon looks like he's going to be the early pace setter in here. Then he just turns on another gear. He's going to come fully down the stretch here, take control of this race, and I find it's going to be really hard for anyone in this field to be Essential Quality. I think he wins this pretty easily, and there's not too many locks in horse racing, but this is as close as you're going to get.
All right. Well, moving on there. How about Marco number 3, Keep Me in Mind? Joel Rosario there, 10-1, 3-2 there in a career record. Not bad for Keep Me in Mind. What are the shots here?
Yeah, Keep Me in Mind, as you guys know, we had a lot of fun with it a few weeks back. The horse raced his best race of his career, finishing second in that race to Essential Quality, giving Essential Quality everything he could handle. Now, I'm a realist, and I look at the films of the race and play them back, and although he did battle Essential Quality right down to the wire, here was the difference. Keep Me in Mind was able to never leave the wood. Got a good inside ground-saving trip, and as I said, gave him all he could handle. The difference was Luis Saez rode Essential Quality like he was 10 lengths better than the field. He kept the horse 4 or 5 wide the entire race through both of the turns, which he gave up a ton of ground in that race, but he wanted to make sure he didn't get this horse locked in with any kind of traffic problems. I think Essential Quality is going to get a little more of an aggressive drive and will be closer to the pace this week and won't be caught 3, 4, 5 wide in the turn. And that'll be the difference that'll make the extra ground between Essential Quality and Keep Me in Mind. I'll have Keep Me in Mind on the ticket. The horse's 2 best starts have been the last 2, and that happens to coincide where they put blinkers on this horse for the 2 starts. The horse has stayed focused, been closer to the pace, and still has that great closing kick. And Joel Rosario, first time aboard last time, rode the horse well. Look for that kind of ride again. He'll be on the ticket, but I don't think he can win the race.
All right, moving on. Number 4 here, Sig. Dynamic One. Interesting horse here at 6-1. Todd Pletcher, and of course, Irad Ortiz Jr. We've seen this before. What do you think of Dynamic One?
Well, Joe, Dynamic One did take a while here to develop, but once he did, he's been finding some success here. If you guys remember, he was leading in the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct back in April before his stablemate, Bourbon, caught him running down the stretch at huge odds. What resulted, I think, is a $400+ dollar exacta for 2 Todd Pletcher trainees in a major stakes race at Aqueduct. You never see that. You'll never see that again. He earned enough points in that Wood Memorial performance to get himself into the starting gate at the Kentucky Derby, but then ended up drawing that dreaded 1 spot. He was pretty rank in that race and never actually recovered. He had finished 18th out of that field. But then Pletcher gave him almost 3 months off here And he came back in the Curlin and basically won that race with Irad Ortiz aboard. It's the first time first time in a while Irad's rode him. Irad rode him in his first few races before he broke his maiden. The time off was definitely a help for him, I think, here. And another thing that I consider with Dynamic One is that his sire, Union Rags, could basically run forever. So the longer the distance, the better. I think it's going to set him up pretty well in this spot. I think the public's not going to overlook the Pletcher-Irad connection, but I think there's going to be some value here. He's 6-1 your morning line. I'm going to use him in exotics. He can finish anywhere, in my opinion, from 2nd to 7th in this field.
All right, good stuff there. Moving on, number 5 here. One of the long shots, Marco, 12-1. Who better than Chad Brown to pull the upset off this weekend? Or who we kidding? This ain't going to happen.
No, not with Miles D here. Long shot, as you said, 12-1. I don't like the horse in this race. Yes, I can give you a couple things that you can like about him, but he finished behind Dynamic One in his last race by almost 3 lengths. And I didn't get to talk about Dynamic One. I will later when we get to the actual picks for us. But I think that's a much better horse. So I'm not going to look at Miles D here. I will point out this is the 3rd start off the layoff. And I'll also point out that the horse only has 3 career starts. So you've heard me talk about horses where they can make that big jump up. So it would not surprise me if Miles D, can jump up and, surprise and hit at the bottom end of the ticket. And to steal Sig's thunder, I'll say, here's a horse that, could finish anywhere from 2nd to 7th. Well, I'll tell you what, all of the horses in this race could finish somewhere between 2nd to 7th because they're not beating Essential Quality. So my esteemed colleague really stepped out on a limb there with that somewhere between 2nd and 7th. But, I just didn't want him to have a leg up on me with that brilliant analysis.
Good. It was. I'm actually almost done writing it down there, Marco. Number 6, we'll move on. Masqueparade there. Sig, talk to us. 8-1. Let me guess. Anywhere from 2nd to 7th here? I'm just going to throw it out there.
Okay, guys. The comment on Dynamic One was to say that he could be anything in that race. Wasn't to say, hey, I'm going to cover myself by saying 2nd to 7th. He couldn't. Miles D could finish 2nd in this race for all we know. Chad Brown's been hot as hell at Saratoga, and very well could have a horse that's ready to explode on this race. But let's get to why we're here. It's Masqueparade. Masqueparade was the Ohio Derby winner. He came back to finish 3rd in the Jim Dandy against a number of horses that he's going to see again here on Saturday, including Essential Quality and Keep Me in Mind. He's trained very well since his last outing, but his sire Upstart was not great at the 1.25 miles, and his inability to keep pace with Essential Quality and Keep Me in Mind in the Jim Dandy leads me to have some concerns on him. Also, his speed figures have been declining since his huge race on Kentucky Derby Day at Churchill, where he beat the field by 12 lengths in an allowance. If you look, he's just been slowly trending backwards here. I think this is going to be a little classier, a little tougher field for him here. I don't think he's a win contender, but he definitely could hit the ticket here. He'll be on a few of my deeper exotic tickets.
All right, and one horse left there, Marco. King Fury, 15-1 here on the early line. Talk to us here with Jose Ortiz on top.
Yeah, this is a horse that just missed being on my show ticket, but I can tell you will be on my actual tickets that day because I'm going to play a little deeper than what we're doing on the show. King Fury, just get your pen out if you got a racing form in front of you and look at the last race and just draw a black line through it. Don't even look at it. And the reason for that, Joe, is they put the horse on grass. Why they put the horse on grass when this horse is raced exclusively on dirt baffles me, but they needed a race before this race, and that was the spot that they could get in. So it was really just to get a race under him and prep him for this one. You look at all of his other races, this is a horse that's an honest horse and is there, and you look the last 2 starts, a bang-up second to Masqueparade that we've talked about, which was a horse that did win the Ohio Derby. And if you go back and watch that Ohio Derby and see the trip that King Fury got, compared to the trip Masqueparade got, King Fury actually went the better race. And I think if he improves off of that tightener last time out, he could be a major player at a price. Now, the reason he's on the bottom end of my ticket is I don't expect a fast pace in this race. I think Midnight Bourbon's going to get a moderate pace, and Essential Quality is going to be happy just sitting off his flanks, maybe a length off that. So we're not going to get blistering fractions. I think King Fury needs a faster half to be able to reach because this horse is a closer, and that's my only reason for not having him there. But I'll tell you, if they get the fast pace, this is a horse that's going to be flying late and will make the ticket, and I will be using the horse underneath in all of the spots, second, third, and fourth on gimmicks.
All right, well, there we go, guys. 1 through 7 there at tomorrow's the Travers Stakes there in Saratoga. So it is time, of course, to take a look at what those tickets here for the show actually look like. And I do want to remind you, if you head over to WagerTalk.com, don't forget about Sig's daily racing reports available 9 a.m. on race days. Just visit his page directly, wt.buzz/Sig, and hop on board with Marco. 90 days of all access. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has been more profitable in the MLB than Marco since the All-Star break. Grab all plays, all sports, including all his plays at the track this weekend and beyond. 90 days for just $7 a day. Visit Marco at WagerTalk.com as well. And Sig, we're going to come to you, my friend, first. So talk to us. What's on your ticket here for the Travers?
Well, Joe, I actually went with Essential Quality as it was no secret when I gave you guys my analysis on that one. It's his race to lose. I think he's the best 3-year-old in training right now, and I'll be keying him on top of a lot of bets. My other 3 choices in here, though, all ended up being horses that Marco talked about. So just a couple quick thoughts. The one, Midnight Bourbon, I love the fact that he's always there. Those 10 career races, 8 of them in the money. And I also love the fact that Ricardo Santana, Steve Asmussen's go-to rider, is aboard him for the first time. He works horses for him in the morning. He goes to him for all his big races. So it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of ride he gives Midnight Bourbon in here. Keepmeinmind has all been there for all these races. My one concern with Keepmeinmind is to look back at his past performances. He won his maiden, and every race since then has been a graded stakes. He's always there, but he's due for a regression. He's going to need a break here at some point. And I like King Fury, just like Marco said. Toss out that last race. The problem that they had with the McPeak barn was there was an outbreak of herpes in the barn, and they couldn't race their horses. They were in quarantine. He needed a spot to get King Fury in. Dropped him in that Saratoga Derby on the turf. He did nothing in there, but it means nothing. His speed figures have been gradually improving. I love him at a price, and I think he definitely could be in the exacta and the trifecta here for you. So 2-1-3-7 for me.
All right, 2-1-3-7 for Sig. And Marco, what does your ticket look like?
My ticket looks like very similar, except one horse, and I'll talk about that one. The 2-horse Essential Quality, yes, he's the horse to beat. I don't see them beating him in here. Midnight Bourbon is the logical horse second. This horse is consistent week in, week out. The 4-horse was one of the horses that Sig talked about. I like the 4 a lot. This is where I'm going to find the start of my value for this race. Dynamic One is coming off. This will be a second start off of the layoff. And if you look at Todd Pletcher, now last week this angle bit me a little bit with Dr. Post. But, Joe, as you and I talked about on a show earlier this week we were doing before we went live, Dr. Post, I don't know what happened in that race, the way the ride went, but then he backed up in the turn and then was flying again in the stretch. I don't know if there was just, some kind of problem that he experienced, but the horse still did race respectable in that race. Todd Pletcher, when he races a horse the second time off of the layoff, when it's been a 2 to 6 month layoff, I'm going to give you an astonishing stat on him. He wins at 46% rate. 46%. And he's in the money over 70% of the time with horses like that. You look at Dynamic One's last race, he won in hand. That was a tightener pointing to this race. I like Dynamic One. He is a closer. He's going to need an honest pace, but I think he'll be close enough to the field to be able to launch that bid and pass the other horses in the stretch. He may not get to essential quality, but I think he'll get past the other horses here in this race. And then Keep Me in Mind, simply because the horse, we've had a lot of fun with that horse. He's a special horse to me with the show. We've had him a few times, but he's always coming at the end. And the other horse there could have been just as easily number 7, King Fury. I'll be playing tries with the 2 on top and then using like the 1-4 in the second spot and then spreading out a little deeper on the bottom end with the 3 and the 7 added in there.
All right, 2-1-4-3 for Marco, 2-1-3-7 it looks like for Sig. So obviously, guys, 7 horses in this field for the Travers. Plenty of opportunities to mix and match and create your tickets there tomorrow. Best bet, just head over to WagerTalk.com right now. Grab Sig's daily racing report right now. You can do that each and every day by 9 a.m. And, of course, Marco, grab that all-access package right now. 90 days, all sports, all plays, just $7 a day. The Travers tomorrow, Saratoga Race 12. It's a huge racing weekend here. And on behalf of Marco and Sig, guys, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll get notified every time we go live here on Pony Pundits. And on behalf of Marco and Sig, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. And no matter what you do, guys, make it a profitable weekend. We'll be back again on Friday. Have a good one, guys. Best of luck. We'll talk to you.
We've rolled back our football prices. WagerTalk's first full year was 2015, and we've lowered our football season packages to match what we charged that football season. Why? It's simple. We want to make our season-long packages an extraordinary value. You can buy a full college football season or full NFL season for only $5.99 each. But if you buy a college football NFL combo from the same handicapper, you pay only $8.99. Looking to mix and match handicappers? We have you covered. Just email support@wagertalk.com for a bundle discount and to create any handicapper combo you can dream of.